Walk us through your mornings and how you integrate Espresso Agent into your schedule and what it's doing for you.
Yeah, well, my day, I call it the 7 P's of real estate. I mean, it's my 7 P schedule. So, I start up, I prepare, I power up, then I practice and role play. Then I prospect, obviously, from 9 to noon. And then I preview, and I have a power lunch, and then I perform from 1 to 6. I'm on a performance. So that's my presentation time. And then I come back and I power down, and then I put away till the next day. So it's like the 7 P's of real estate, or Ron Poindexter.
And it must work because 33 years is quite impressive. So you mentioned 1 to 6 area for performing. Now, what does that mean? Or does that mean that's when you're going out on appointments, or is this when you're prospecting? Tell me a little bit more.
No, 1 to 6, I call it performing. That's when you present. And I look at it as a performance, because you want to go in professional, you want to be powerful, you want to be energized and enthusiastic. Well, I took one last night for 30 minutes.
Woo-hoo!
I was in and out in 30 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. It was an expired. I think it took me 10 minutes on the call, but I had the appointment in like 4 minutes. So yeah, that's what you do. That's what we do.
You prepare properly. Hi, I'm Noel with today's Brew, where top producing real estate agents share their tips and tricks on taking more listings, making more money, and having fun doing it. On today's episode, we welcome Ron Poindexter from the Nashville, Tennessee area. Hey, Ron, how are you?
Good, Noel. How are you doing?
I am doing fabulous. Thank you for coming on today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. I want to start off by saying Ron's been in the industry for an impressive 33 years. And is recently restarting his business in a new area, leaving New Mexico and moving on to Tennessee. And we want to know how you're doing it. How are you rebuilding your brand?
All righty. Well, yeah, I was in New Mexico for 33 years. I was an owner broker of my company for 27 years. I was 12 years with Mike Ferry, and so I'm a big Mike Ferry guy and coaching, and so I came out here, and I joined a team with the Mike Ferry guy that I knew for a while, and then we kind of two leaders, so I started my own, and I'm rebuilding my brand, like you said, and Espresso Agent is a big part of it.
We like to hear that.
Yeah.
Elaborate a little bit. Walk us through your mornings and how you integrate Espresso Agent into your schedule and what it's doing for you.
Yeah, well, my day, I call it the 7 P's of real estate. I mean, it's my 7 P schedule. So, I start up, I prepare, I power up, then I practice and role play, then I prospect, obviously, from 9 to noon, and then I preview, and I have a power lunch, and then I perform from 1 to 6. I'm on a performance. So that's my presentation time. And then I come back and I power down, and then I put away till the next day. So it's like the 7 P's of real estate, or Ron Poindexter.
And it must work because 33 years is quite impressive. So you mentioned 1 to 6 area for performing. Now, what does that mean? Or does that mean that's when you're going out on appointments, or is this when you're prospecting? Tell me a little bit more.
No, 1 to 6, I call it performing. That's when you present. And I look at it as a performance, because you want to go in professional, you want to be powerful, you want to be, energized and enthusiastic. Well, I took one last night for 30 minutes.
Woo-hoo!
I was in and out in 30 minutes. It was an expired. I think it took me 10 minutes on the call, but I had the appointment in like 4 minutes. So yeah, that's what we do.
You prepare properly.
Well, you prepare, but you also, it's more confidence, I feel, than anything. I listen to people all the time, and they're afraid to even ask for their commission, which just blows me away.
Let's talk about that. I like that you brought that up. Like you said, most of the time people are trying to get you to cut your commission. How do you handle that kind of question?
I say no. Any other questions? You know, well, here's what you got to remember. They want to pay a good realtor. They'll pay you if you perform and you get what you need to get. They're happy to do it. But it's when they're a timid agent, or they don't, have any kind of communication with their clients. That's when they don't see your value. But I talk to my clients every day, maybe twice a day. And I'm asking them, Noel, for who do you know? Who do you know? You're in real estate now because you're in the game. So it's just like sort of when you buy a car, Noel, and nobody has the car before you buy it, but after you buy it, you notice everybody has it. It's kind of the same. Yeah, it's kind of that same thing. If you go in there with confidence, or even if you're prospecting with confidence, that's the goal. And here's why I'm the best agent. Noel, this is why I'm the best agent for the job. Because I'm 100% committed to getting you the highest price in the shortest amount of time.
Absolutely.
With the least amount of headaches, right?
Yeah. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, then why would you even think someone else is going to have confidence in your abilities?
Exactly. And they smell it. They'll smell that down the street. When you're coming in with no confidence, they're going to get you for commission. You have no standards. So if you build a foundation, which is one of my F's in real estate, the fundamentals, you have to have a foundation, Noel. You have to have standards. You have to say to yourself, look, I'm going to, this may be the commission structure, but this is what Ron Poindexter has to earn, and then have your standards. I don't cut commissions. I'm even going to ask you for more money, Noel. And let me tell you why.
Now, do you say this on your listing presentation?
Oh, absolutely. I have a form called a fee structure. If you just ask and you shall receive, right?
Exactly. I say that all the time. You do not get what you don't ask for.
That's right. Right. Jim says you gotta ask to get, right? So I don't know. I get a kick out of it. I go in and I go powerful, and if you go in with a strong presentation, it's a natural ending to sign the contract.
I bet. Getting business done. So how do you keep a healthy mindset on a daily basis when your conversations on the phone aren't being received very well, or maybe you don't get the listing at the listing appointment? How do you keep going?
Well, my biggest problem is complacency. That's the biggest problem with me, because coming from what I've come from, and I don't have the house payments anymore, or the car payments, or the young family anymore. So, it's very easy for me to look out and see the lake and think, oh, I better go fishing today. But one of my fundamentals, again, the F's, is I got to go fishing for prospects, for clients, right? Buyers and sellers.
Yes, you get to earn that first.
That's right. That's right. But I will take, after, if I'm getting a lot of negative, I might take a mind dump and go knock on some doors, or run out, or go call some, I don't know, call some banks, or call some asset managers, or work on, drop PMI drops. I'm doing a lot of those for companies now, so I'll go out and do them and meet people that need to drop their PMI, and they pay me to go do that, so that's a really good way to know what's coming, how the market's coming, and get to know a bunch of people. Everybody I meet, I turn into my sphere. So that's a big thing when I'm building out here now. Everybody, even if I'm fishing off the docks, normally I'm catching fish, but I'm meeting people. That's the main reason. And they always come over, what are you using? Well, let me tell you, so
let me give you my card and I'll let you know.
Absolutely. But yeah, you just get to talking to people, and that's all part of the game. If you go to lunch, go to the same place every day so that everybody knows you're the realtor. So the bartenders or the waitresses, they all know you.
So how often are you staying connected with your lead follow-up? Say that you don't get the listing appointment right away. How often are you following up with them?
I usually call them back almost every day. I'm using your drip campaign. They know who I am. They kind of recognize, you have that presence, whether it be social media, whether it be, a website or whatever. you should have a presence out there on the internet, and
absolutely. There's a lot of agents out there. There's a lot of us. So people need to connect with us. They need to know who you are. They need to see your face. They need to see what else you do other than real estate, Okay, so what's your favorite lead source to call?
Well, expireds and FSBOs.
Okay.
Sphere of influence. I think in this market, you've got to expand what you do, not only just expand the territory, but, early on in my career, I started doing developments. I started selling subdivisions. I was selling to Coppin and Broad and D.R. Horton back in Albuquerque. And so, but I learned that just by doing it, and the more, it's almost like a fake it till you make it thing.
So what was your goal for this year, and have you gotten it?
My goal for this year, because I was rebuilding, was 25 with a stretch of 30. Okay. And I was about 12 if you don't count outgoing referrals. So I had about 4 outgoing referrals.
Okay.
So I mean, I missed it, and that's a very low year for me. I normally did, Mike Ferry had me from 50 to 75 with a $12,000 bet, so.
So you need someone to hold you accountable.
Absolutely. Huge accountability. That's what worked for me.
Definitely. Okay. So for newer coaches, or not newer coaches, but newer agents and complacent agents, what's your best piece of advice for them?
Well, right now in this market, if I worked for a larger brokerage, I would tell a new agent, go to your broker and work the orphan files. So find out who sold a house that's no longer living there or working there, and then adopt those files into your sphere of influence, and just tell them, hey, this is Ron Poindexter. You bought a house through us a year ago. I'm taking over the account. I want to introduce myself. How can I help you? I would do that immediately, because there's probably thousands of files in some of these huge companies, I would definitely do at least 125 contacts or contacts a week, 5 days a week, vary your contacts so you don't get so bored. So like expireds, FSBOs, call some asset managers. It's not that hard. Just Google asset managers and see who's handling these sales in this for HUD agents or whatever, get in the door. But if you don't try, then you'll never do it. But probates, divorce attorneys, special master. I had a special master attorney that handled estates in Albuquerque that she was the greatest resource. I met her through a guy who's on my YouTube channel, and he was an expired listing. I made the presentation to his daughter-in-law, and he stood at the sink with his back to me the whole time. The whole time. He's an old, gruff old guy. And afterward, I said, are you ever going to turn around and shake my hand? I just went up to him.
How did that go?
He turned around and he said, well, I heard what you said. And he says, maybe I'm going to think it over and you can come back tomorrow. I said, no, you can come to my office. I said, if you want to meet me again, you come to my office. And he did. He called up the next day. We did it. I performed. I had several deals with him. In fact, he became one of my best clients. And he was the greatest guy. And he had commercial. Where I met the lady, the special master was on a strip center. I sold the whole strip center in Albuquerque. So, it works. And all off an expired listing, though.
Yeah, you just got to show up, and you got to show up with the confidence
and on time. And
yes,
and
wear a jacket,
wear a suit. Don't go super casual all the time. Be a pro.
Well, that's good. Let all the listing appointments always pick you too.
Yeah, well, that's why I like Espresso Agent. I really do. I think that every dialer kind of has its own good things and bad things, but the truth is that the support that you guys have. Today's Brew, Jim's things, Jackie Kravis. She was a coach of mine in 97, 98 too, and she had a FSBO breakout thing, and she was great back then. So those people, though, you got to get them around you, because if you don't have them around you, you kind of lose it. You kind of
Oh,
stop.
absolutely. You hang out with 5 successful people, you'll be with the 6th.
That's right. That's
And
right. You
yeah,
become who you think hang around, and you become what you think about.
gotta have that positive mind and positive people around you. Well, you've offered some great advice for newer agents or any agents that have become stagnant, and we're so thankful that you took the time to come on here and that you love Espresso Agent. We love your support, and we look forward to catching up next year and seeing what that goal is and
Oh
how.
yeah, it'll go. It always follows you, but you got to get comfortable where you're at.
Mhm.
And that was finding a family out here where I could go to work was kind of, what I call the family is the office or whatever. And
Mhm.
I ended up doing my own thing again, so really, I
Okay.
guess I'm set in my ways, but that's where I feel I'm most confident. And and so it'll follow. I mean, I know it's just a numbers game now, and it's just getting my numbers up, and I'm seeing this declining market. So I know I went through 2008 was my best year. So I know when the leaves start shaking off that tree and they're falling out,
Mhm.
that's less competition for me.
It's
And
your
that's when
show
I
time
excel,
to shine.
right?
It is. No, you're right. You have to just outwork other people. You have to be willing to do the work that others aren't.
One thing I think that, so many people I'm a salesman, okay? I'm 100% a salesman, and so when I hear, people talk, oh, you don't want to sound salesy. You don't want to be a sales guy.
Mhm.
The truth is, I don't get paid to do anything else but sell your home.
Certainly are not afraid to ask the questions and get what you want.
You gotta, you gotta ask hard questions, don't
Yeah,
you, Noel? I
you
mean,
do.
if you get that little feeling in your gut that, oh, should I ask this or not? Like open houses, I don't get the whole open house concept, but when I've done them, but when I used to do them, I'd say, I'm sorry, I promised my seller that only ready, willing, and able buyers will go through this home.
Mhm.
Are you qualified? Who are you qualified with? Well, we just want to see the home. I'm sorry. I promised my seller that only ready, willing. So I would have a lender there to pre-qual them right away. And if they didn't
Great.
want to get pre-qual, they didn't go in the home. But you
Yeah.
got to remember, I worked
It
in New
shows they're
Mexico.
serious too. It shows they're serious. I know as an agent myself, I'm not showing houses unless I'm taking around someone who's been pre-qualified.
It's
Um,
it's
that's
the
that's
cardinal
the first
rule.
step.
You never give up on that standard. They have to be
No.
100% qualified. And
I
you have
remember
to,
being really I remember when I first got in the business, I was terrified to even think about saying that. Like, t I couldn't wrap my mind around saying, "Well, are you qualified? What are you qualified for?" Because I felt like I was too nervous. I was so green and I was so nervous. I was like, "Oh, they're gonna feel like I'm telling them they can't afford to buy a house," you know? But 1 month in, I'm like, "No, no, this is
right.
standard of business. Standard of business. This has to happen."
Right. And I think people today, like in these interest rates, when I got in, they were a lot higher, and I didn't know any better, and I was dominoing. I was in my first 90 days, I was dominoing 5 deals in a row, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know that was hard.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Ron.
Well, thanks for having me, Noel, and hopefully I can help people. It's great to be around this group, and hopefully try to help somebody today.
It did. It definitely did. It helped me. You inspired me today too. And we love that Espresso Agent is able to help give you the support for your new rebranding in Tennessee.
Yeah. Ron Poindexter Real Estate, Gallatin. I pretty much work the Nashville area, Nashville and surrounding Middle Tennessee, but I live and work out of Gallatin. So,
Okay. Well, you
so
heard it. You heard it. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Noel.